Title of web page, mandated reporting, and overview of reporting requirements for custodians. Protection of People with Special Needs Act. The Justice Center was established by the Protection of People with Special Needs Act. The intent of the Act was to create a set of consistent safeguards for all vulnerable persons that will protect them against abuse, neglect, and other conduct that may jeopardize their health, safety, and welfare, and to provide fair treatment to the employees upon whom they depend. In addition to establishing the Justice Center, the Act mandates that the Justice Center operate a statewide hotline, referred to as the Vulnerable Persons Central Register, or the VPCR, to ensure that reportable incidents are promptly reported and fully investigated. Further, the Act identifies certain people who are defined as mandated reporters and requires these people to report incidents involving vulnerable persons to the VPCR. Who is a mandated reporter. Mandated reporters are required to report reportable incidents involving vulnerable persons. Human services professionals are those who may not see a person receiving services on a daily basis, but who interact with the individual during the course of providing professional services. Custodians are individuals who are employed by or volunteer at state-operated, licensed, or certified facilities or agencies under the Justice Center's jurisdiction. Consultants, volunteers, or contractors of organizations or companies that contract with facilities and agencies under the Justice Center's jurisdiction are also considered to be custodians if they have regular and substantial contact with a person receiving services. Who is a vulnerable person? Individuals who may be vulnerable to abuse and neglect because of their reliance on professional caregivers in state operated, licensed, or certified facilities, programs, or agencies. Vulnerable persons are not necessarily individuals with disabilities, although many are. What is a reportable incident? There are three general types of reportable incidents: abuse, neglect, significant incident. Abuse is an action by a custodian against a person receiving services that causes or has the potential to cause injury or serious protracted impairment of the physical, mental, or emotional condition of a service recipient. Neglect is any action, inaction, or lack of attention that breaches a custodian's duty and that results in, or is likely to result in death, physical injury, or serious or protracted impairment of the physical, mental, or emotional condition of a person receiving services. A significant incident is any incident, other than an incident of abuse or neglect, that because of its severity or the sensitivity of the situation, may result in, or has the reasonably foreseeable potential to result in, harm to the health, safety, or welfare of a person receiving services. When is reporting required? If you are a mandated reporter and have reasonable cause to suspect that a reportable incident has occurred and that it was committed by a custodian, you must report it to the VPCR immediately upon discovery. The person receiving services does not have to suffer harm for an incident to be reportable. The potential for harm must also be reported. Even if the reportable incident occurred at a different facility or program from where you are employed, once you become aware that something reportable has occurred, you are required to report the incident to the VPCR. Immediately. Immediately means right away. Immediate reporting may be delayed to take the necessary steps to call 911, implement safety measures to protect the individual from further harm, and to follow internal facility procedures. However, no internal procedure should significantly delay a report to the Justice Center. Upon discovery, discovery occurs when a mandated reporter witnesses a suspected reportable incident. Discovery can also occur when another person, including a person receiving services or family member, provides the mandated reporter with reasonable cause to suspect that an individual has been subjected to a reportable incident. Reasonable cause. When trying to determine if you have reasonable cause to suspect an incident has occurred, review the circumstances, evidence, and facts known or readily available to you. Consider your own observations, trainings, experiences, and common sense in assessing. Was the individual injured, or was there potential for injury? Do you believe the explanation of how the injury occurred? How reliable is your information? Each mandated reporter has a personal obligation to report a suspected reportable incident individually to the Justice Center, unless multiple reports regarding the same incident would be made to the VPCR and the multiple reporting exception is met. Under the multiple reporting exception, the only time you are not required to report an allegation to the VPCR is if you know that the incident was already reported to the VPCR, and you know that you were named in the report as a person of knowledge of the incident. If you are unsure whether you have reasonable cause to suspect a reportable incident has occurred, or you are not certain the multiple reporting exception has been met, we encourage you to report the incident to the VPCR. Obligation to notify your provider agency. Your employer or supervisor cannot tell you that you may not report if you believe that you are required to do so. You are not obligated by the Justice Center to tell your employer that you made a report to the VPCR. However, your employer may require you to also make an internal report of an incident. We encourage you to speak to your supervisor about your internal reporting procedures and responsibilities. How to report. Mandated reporters can call the toll-free VPCR 24-hour hotline at 1-855-373-2122. For individuals using New York Relay Service, dial 711 and give the operator the phone number 1-855-373-2122. There is also a web form as well as a mobile Android application that are available for reporting abuse and neglect. For more information, visit the Justice Center's website at www.justicecenter.ny.gov. What happens to a report? Intake. A trained staff person takes a full report and enters all details of the incident into the VPCR. All calls are recorded and an incident number is assigned at the end of each call. The incident number gives proof that the incident was reported. This number should also be referenced by the reporter if he or she needs to add more information later. Classification. After the call, a reportable incident is classified as abuse, neglect, or significant incident. Assignment. Once the report is classified, a case is created and assigned to the appropriate entity for investigation. Once assigned, the investigation begins. Final determination. Regardless of who is conducting the investigation, the Justice Center reviews all abuse and neglect investigations and makes the final determination about whether or not the allegation is substantiated or unsubstantiated. Once a determination is made, the Justice Center notifies the victim and his or her personal representative, the subject in the case, and the provider agency director of the outcome. Mandated reporters and witnesses are not notified of the outcome of the investigation. The Justice Center does not make a determination regarding significant incidents. However, a state oversight agency may request that a provider agency develop a corrective action plan if there is an issue of concern. Report suspected abuse or neglect 1-855-373-2122.